All right, let's jump right in. We're about to build ourselves a toolkit for thinking. A set of really essential tools that'll help you construct a rock-solid argument. And maybe even more importantly, help you spot a weak one from a mile away. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a riddle, right? A total contradiction. But believe me, getting your head around this one idea is probably the most important step you can take to becoming a sharper, more critical thinker. So let's unpack it. Okay, first things first. We have to kind of reset our everyday definition of a word we use all the time: argument. See, in philosophy, an argument isn't about people yelling or trying to win a fight. Nope, it's something much more structured, much more, well, calm. And that's really all it is. An argument is just a chain of thought laid out for everyone to see. It's a structure that shows exactly how you got from your starting points, we call those premises, to your final point, the conclusion. It's like the blueprint for your reasoning. Think about it like building a house. To make it strong, you need two things, right? You need good materials, no rotten wood, and you need a good design, a solid blueprint. Well, reasoning is exactly the same. You need to start with true beliefs. Those are your materials, and you need to connect them with flawless logic. That's your blueprint. If either one of those is off, the whole thing just falls apart. So let's see how this actually works. Whenever you hear an argument, you can basically run two different tests on it. One test is for the materials. Are the reasons actually true? And the second test is for the design. Is the logic that holds it all together any good? And this is a really, really common trap. You can listen to an argument where every single statement, every piece of evidence is 100% verifiable fact. But the way they're put together is just broken. There's a missing link, a huge logical leap, and that makes the whole argument fail, even though it's built out of true pieces. And this brings us to a super important word: validity. An argument is valid if its structure, its blueprint, is perfect. What that means is, if the starting reasons, the premises, were true, then the conclusion would have to be true. See that big is? That's everything. Validity is purely a check of the logical structure. It doesn't actually care if the premises are true in the real world. So here's the simple little stress test you can run on any argument's logic. Step 1, just lay out all the reasons it gives. Step 2, just for a second, pretend they are all completely 100% true. And then you ask the magic question. In this imaginary world where all the reasons are true, is there any possible way the conclusion could still be false? If the answer is yes, then boom, the logic is invalid. Okay, look at this. This argument, it passes the validity test with flying colors. The logic is absolutely perfect. If those first two sentences were true, the conclusion would be undeniable. But here's the kicker. The first premise is just plain false, and so is the conclusion. John Quincy Adams was actually the 6th president. So what you're looking at is a perfect example of a logically valid argument that is completely and totally wrong.
All right, so if a valid argument can still be flat out wrong, then what are we even aiming for? What's the goal when we're trying to reason well? Well, let's take a look at the gold standard for any good argument.
And this little table lays it out perfectly. A valid argument, it clears the bar for logic. It has that perfect structure. But its foundation, the premises, they can be shaky. They can be totally false. A sound argument, on the other hand, has both. It's got the perfect logical structure, and its foundation is built on nothing but solid, true facts. This right here, this is what we're after. A sound argument is the whole package. It's logically watertight, and it's factually correct. And because of that amazing combination, its conclusion isn't just probably true, it is guaranteed to be true. That's the bullseye. So now that we have our core tools, we know how to test for validity and for soundness, let's go hunting. Let's take this new toolkit of ours and use it to spot some of the most common, most sneaky mistakes in reasoning that I promise you will see every single day. So a fallacy is, it's basically a faulty argument that's dressed up to look convincing. It's a reasoning trap. Some of them are broken because their logical form is just plain invalid, but others are more like sneaky psychological tricks that take advantage of our mental shortcuts. Oh man, you see this one everywhere. Especially online, right? Ad hominem. It's Latin for to the person, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the mistake of completely ignoring the actual argument and just attacking the person who's making it. It's a total distraction, a shift from the idea to the individual. This is just a textbook ad hominem. A person's background, their job, their character, it has absolutely nothing to do with whether their argument is logically valid or based on true premises. Good ideas and bad ideas can come from anyone. You have to look at the argument, not the arguer. Period. The straw man has got to be one of the most frustrating, most intellectually dishonest fallacies out there. See, instead of engaging with your opponent's actual strong argument, you build this weak, flimsy, distorted version of it, a straw man, and then you heroically knock that down instead. It gives you the illusion of winning a debate without ever touching the real issue. You see what politician B just did there? They took a pretty specific suggestion about a budget and twisted it into this completely absurd, extreme position. They're not arguing against the actual point anymore. They're arguing against leaving the country defenseless, something politician A never, ever said. Classic straw man. Now this is the fallacy of jumping to conclusions. It's what happens when we take maybe one or two examples, something we saw on the news, something that happened to a friend, and we blow it up into this huge sweeping rule that we think applies to everybody or everything. And this example right here shows just how incredibly dangerous and damaging this kind of fallacy can be. Good reasoning, it demands that we look at a lot of evidence, at a representative sample, before we start making giant claims. Using a few awful examples to smear an entire group of people is a huge, huge error in thinking. Okay, so let's pull all this together. Here are the 4 key tools we've put in our reasoning toolkit today. Number 1. Separate the person from the argument, always. Number 2, fact-check the foundations. Are the premises actually true? Number 3, test the blueprint. Is the logic valid? And number 4, watch out for strawmen. Make sure you're arguing against the real thing. With these tools, you're now equipped to be an argument detective. You can look past the surface of things you see every single day, analyze the structure, check the foundation, and spot all the hidden traps. From news headlines to arguments on social media, just think about it. What are you going to see differently now that you know what to look for?